What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jersey Shorts podcast. This is episode 11, season 2 of the Jersey Shorts podcast. I'm Rain, the host, and with me is Juan and Miguel. What's up, guys?
What's
What's
up,
up? Good.
Yeah, and Epic, he's not here with us for the
Again.
month of October.
Again? Yeah,
He
again.
Yeah.
informed us, yeah, he won't be available for the whole month of October, and hopefully next month he'll be with us consistently. And because we do like his takes, he adds another flavor, another layer of professionalism or analysis, in this pod. So enjoy your vacation, Epic. But anyways, the season, by the time this episode airs or gets scheduled released, it the season has would have started already.
Yeah,
The games between the Lakers and the Denver
Yes.
Nuggets and the Warriors and the Suns. Uh, they're the two games for the season opener. So without further ado, we will be uh, choosing our picks, for everything, like our NBA 2023-24 season predictions. So first is the champions. So we'll be selecting the champions, who we think will be the champions, and with that as well, we'll have to answer which player will win the Finals MVP, because of course we'll be choosing the champions, right? And we'll be choosing which teams will come out of the East and the West. All right. So Miguel, you weren't with us the past episode, so you go ahead and take uh, take on the first one. Who's your choice to win the championship?
I don't typically have like a choice for who's going to win the championship until the halfway point of the season, up until maybe the All-Star break, because that's just when things start to make sense a little bit. And choosing a champion right now, I don't know, it feels off to me because
Yeah,
nothing's
it does.
happened yet.
Yeah,
Nothing's
yeah,
happened yet, and you can say, "Oh, but last season, the Nuggets they won, and not much has changed." I mean, it's probably just wise to say the Nuggets will repeat. But here's the thing: they lost a very key piece of that championship team in Bruce Brown,
yeah,
and if you look at the past, the history of teams who have won championships, typically the teams that have lost their X factor do not repeat. And Bruce Brown, he's not the guy who put up the most points. He's not their best, in at anything really. But he was such a vital piece to that team that losing him might actually hurt their, championship aspirations, their repeat aspirations, because I know that's just what history has told us, like from what I've seen personally, and I think you guys would agree that
yeah,
Yeah,
teams who
for
have
sure.
lost their X factor in the past, they don't repeat. But I would say that the Nuggets might repeat if Christian Braun or Christian Brown
Christian
rather.
Brown.
It's
I keep
Brown.
yeah, it's Brown.
It's Brown.
Apparently, you can't. I think you can't spell your name Braun and say Brown because Brown
Yeah.
is Brown, and the Nuggets had a Brown and they had another Brown spelled differently. But anyway, um, the Nuggets might repeat if Christian Brown is somehow able to fill the gap that Bruce Brown has left. If he's able to
Yeah,
provide the
that's true.
scrappiness and sometimes the explosive offense that came out of nowhere. But yeah, unless Christian Brown is able to fill that hole that Bruce Brown has left, the Nuggets might not repeat. But I think they have a good chance because Jokic is consistent. Jamal Murray is going to be, I think, even healthier than he
Oh,
was
for
last
sure.
season. So
Yeah,
All
hundred
star.
percent.
He's gonna be
there's
an all
yeah, also
star.
I think he's gonna be
Yeah.
an all star for the first time as well. But anyway, that's my condition for the Nuggets winning the championship is Christian Brown has to step up and fill the hole that Bruce Brown has left.
So I'm guessing, since you chose the Nuggets as your prediction for the 2023-24 champs, I'm guessing you're picking Jokic as the Finals MVP.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Jokic, the way he plays the game is just it's not something you've ever seen, in
Yeah,
an NBA player before, right? Like to be that big, and he looks so unfit even.
yeah. Ever season.
But it's like if Boris Diaw,
Yeah.
where
That's a
like
good
Boris
comparison.
Diaw was able to put up the same kind of like triple double numbers, but I don't know. Boris Diaw looked like the kind of person who could, but he didn't want to.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Jokic, that's the thing. He does things that we've never seen before, and I don't see anyone else winning that if they were to win the championship.
So who's your pick as like the best East team to come out of like to contest the Nuggets possibly in the
Um,
finals?
the only team I could see who's going to be a legitimate threat is the Boston Celtics. But here's the thing with the Celtics. It's so difficult to root for them because every single season something goes wrong.
Yeah,
It's like there's always something that just goes wrong for them. Every year we talk about, oh, they're such a deep team. They have, their stars and they have the role players and they have the right people surrounding their stars. But every time in the playoffs, someone gets exposed, something goes wrong.
Jalen Brown.
I mean, yeah, Jalen
Jalen Brown's
Brown,
left
yeah,
hand.
left hand suddenly, it's like the NBA just like, oh, he can't use his left hand, he can't dribble with his left, he can't finish with his left. It's like he's been in the league long
7
enough
years. I
that
think
you think
6 or 7 years.
that, yeah. But I don't know with the Celtics, it's like something always goes wrong for them, and they have on paper they have the best roster. They have the best team. The acquisition of Drew Holiday makes them. I think they have a much better facilitator, a much better two-way guy than Marcus Smart. And I mean, that's a difficult comparison because Marcus Smart is a great defender.
He
There's no
flops
doubt.
though.
He flops. That's the
Yeah, he
thing.
does
He
flop.
He
he
flops though.
he's a good flopper.
He sells it
I mean,
very
he
well.
sells it very well, but I don't know. It's
The the
funny.
the problem with Smart, he flops at times during the wrong time of the game. Like
Yeah,
their momentum just
yeah. It
it
costs them
keeps
some.
yeah, it
Yeah,
keeps their
it costs
momentum.
them a defensive possession
Yeah.
sometimes instead of him being in a position to defend. He's
Yeah.
suddenly not there because he's flying off into the sidelines or just
Yeah,
flying off like away from the court. But yeah, with Drew Holiday, I think
it's better dependent.
yeah, it's a much
Mm,
better. I think they were able to upgrade that position when they got Drew Holiday. Porzingis, sure, but hopefully he stays healthy. He's flown under a lot of people's radars because of the injury, but I think people might not have noticed that last season Kristaps Porzingis put up incredible numbers, all star caliber numbers. He just wasn't named an all star, but he was great. He put up solid numbers, and I mean the Celtics on paper they're a great team. They're not perfect. They don't have as much depth as they used to in the front court, but they're still a good team, and on paper the best team. So yeah, the Celtics, unless something like goes terribly wrong for them.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Those are great picks, actually. So Juan, how about you? Your choice as the best West team, East team, Finals MVP, potential champs.
not the Lakers.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Obviously.
Not the Lakers.
Yeah. Well, uh, the fan in me will say it's the Warriors with Steph Curry as Finals MVP, but they don't have the big man depth to make a run at Jokic if ever they meet in the playoffs. So I'm still going with the Nuggets, even though Miguel pointed out that they lost uh, Bruce Brown to
Yeah.
the Pacers, I think. Uh, but I think that uh, uh, the Nuggets are gonna adjust. They also lost Jeff Green, by the way. Uh, like Green and Brown were like part of the 8-man rotation during the playoffs with Christian Brown. So Christian Brown is gonna be a key factor now. He's got more experience. He's got a bit of experience now. Uh, I think Reggie Jackson will get the offensive part of you know what Bruce Brown brought last year. Then the hustle would be coming from Christian Brown since he was that I think game three of the finals or game four, either of those games. Then they also re-signed Siknaji to his rookie skill extension, so they trust him enough to give him a much better role this year. So yeah, I think the Nuggets would still be the favorites for me to repeat as champions or at least
Yeah,
get out of the West with Jokic as MVP. I mean,
clearly.
he's gonna put up like 25, 12, and 7 in the playoffs or in the
And
finals.
then worry
So
about his horses.
yes, while worrying about his horses, which is crazy since he's gonna put up those numbers and his focus is not 100% on
Basketball,
on basketball. So imagine if he was like in love
invest
with the game, like
like
in love with
100%
the game
invested.
with
Yeah,
someone like Durant, right?
yeah,
He's gonna be probably the most. He's gonna be playing defense if he was that probably, right? He was gonna be a probably better defender. But yeah, Nuggets as champions, Jokic as the MVP or Finals MVP. As for the East, I'm gonna agree with Miguel and say the Celtics over the Bucks, since the Bucks will probably have a harder time adjusting with Lillard, since Lillard
yeah.
loves the ball in his hands. But I think he fits perfectly with Giannis. So uh, I think their problem will be the role players. They're old. They, they, they don't have that much depth probably to go all the way to the playoffs. Well, I mean all the way to the finals. If especially if they uh, meet the Celtics. The Celtics they upgraded Smart to Holiday.
Yeah,
Holiday is much I don't know much, but I think he's a better defender
he's a
since
smarter defender, I think.
I think he's as I mentioned earlier. My main problem with Marcus Smart was he flops on the wrong time
Yeah,
that it will cost them a possession or two, which could decide the game. So, but with Holiday's just gonna make the right plays. I mean, what another one of his career highlights was what he did to Devin Booker and just grab the ball. So those kinds of defenses gonna win championships. And they upgraded Al Horford with Kristaps Porzingis, though they have they lost Grant Williams
yeah.
and Robert
Both
Williams.
Williamses.
Yeah. But I think they will have Al Horford playing Grant Williams' role.
Hmm.
I don't know if what will they do because I think they lack the depth in their big man category, and Al Horford is old, and Kristaps Porzingis is not well known for his durability. But I think Joe Mazzulla has the capability to make the adjustments since he didn't know he's gonna become a head coach last year, and he did a fantastic job, right? Like
That's true.
it wasn't planned. It was never on the plans for him. And watching him on the JJ Reddick podcast, he's smart. He's a great. He's gonna be. He was adamant that he had problems last year, which is great. Right? Like you acknowledge what you did wrong, or you didn't make the adjustments right, and he's gonna work on that this year. So I think, uh, and with the Bucks, uh, they already had problems with the coaching with Adrian Griffin that his thoughts. That's not a good start as well. So
Yeah.
I have the Celtics going in since uh they have on paper, as Miguel said, they should be in. I'm just worried a little bit about their big man depth, just like with my Warriors. So uh Celtics Nuggets finals, although that's I don't know if it's the most highest rated one,
Yeah, yeah.
but but yeah, that's my choice for the NBA finals this year or this
Okay.
season.
those are great picks. You guys have similar picks, and but different reasons actually, different debates, arguments. For me, I'm going with the Phoenix Suns as
Homie.
yeah, I have to, as the eventual champions of this season. With Devin Booker being the Finals MVP, I think he'll take a leap in being a more all around player. Like because the Suns, they don't have a legitimate point guard. They have the starting five is him, Bradley Beal, KD, and Yusuf Nurkic, and the fifth position is it depends on who the
The
matchup.
matchup, probably.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes
And
they put Josh Okogie, they can put Yuta Watanabe, they can put even play big and put Shimizu Metsu at the four. But and this is a perfect opportunity for Devin Booker to um, expand his offensive skills. Like we've seen him become a facilitator at times, and for this season, we'll get an opportunity to see it for a whole season, an entire season, and it's an interesting bunch of guys because of course they got the big three, um, and they have a defensive oriented coach, Frank Vogel, who's I've seen the effects, the positive effects of like their defensive abilities during the preseason games, and you can see Booker, KD, Bradley Beal, Nurkic, Grayson Allen, all of those guys, they're hustling and getting each other, covering for each other on zone defenses, which is interesting because I've never seen the Suns or I've never seen Booker at least give that much effort on the defensive end. Well, maybe except last season because he showed a bit of improvement on that end last season, but this season I think he could be on the verge of being a lockdown defender, and which is a huge improvement. It's not like a Kawhi Leonard level or Jimmy Butler level, maybe a Chris Middleton level, which is decent, right? Okay, so that's my pick for the champions and the best team in the West and the Finals MVP. Now, for the Eastern team that will challenge them or who will come out as the best East team, this is interesting. It will you don't you wouldn't expect this from me. It's the Philadelphia 76ers. Um,
no, 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 no,
I mean, hear me out. Hear me out.
no.
Of course, um, given that they have issues, right? They have issues with Harden. Once they get rid of Harden or they solve that issue, you know, I think things will start to click because they have a brand new coach who's
Oh
more of a
god.
team oriented guy, Nick Nurse, and just hearing the guys, with their interviews during the media day. They've had a chance to do training camp with Nick Nurse and his system, and it's very different from how
Well,
they were under Doc Rivers.
it's
Because
dog.
under Doc Rivers, they were like, Embiid was throwing players or his teammates under the bus. These role players. He's
You always
blaming
do
them.
that. You
He
always do
always
that. No.
right. Even the coach, even Doc Rivers did that. So and now when you hear them in their interviews, they're happy with how the flow of the offense is because everyone gets a chance and everyone does something. They don't just give the ball to the stars and wait. So it's interesting to see the differences from last season to this season, and I think it'll be key for Embiid to finally go past the second round and possibly the NBA Finals. That's so. Now we've given our takes on that, and
Can I argue a little? Can I
go
argue a
go
little
go
with that?
go
Yeah,
with the
man.
Embiid
Well,
with Sixers. Go
well,
ahead.
well, the Suns. I
Okay.
think uh, the point guard is gonna be a. They're gonna be going for a point guard mid-season, since I don't know why would you have Booker play point guard. He's much better as a scorer, or
Yeah,
just giving the ball.
but he's a threat with the ball in his hands,
That's
facilitating.
true.
You know,
But but uh, I mean, I think it would mean much better if it was Beal or KD, right? And
as a point guard, I
yeah,
mean, Beal
so
can't
well
even Beal
as a
can't even play
playmaker,
40 games.
well as KD as well
Yeah,
though.
yeah. So I think
And to think that your backup pointer is Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon is
Eric
now a
Gordon.
point guard.
They're not the best when it comes to like having a legit point guard.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
'Cause
that's
they
true.
they
you,
just
you
choke, you know.
guys need to make a mid-season trade to to probably get over the hill, because I don't see
Yeah,
why
yeah. I
some
I think they
well it's
will at some point.
well you're the Suns are gonna be revolutionary if they won the championship without a real point guard,
They
because
do have this rookie Aaron Goodwin, who has shown
oh
promise though, but
well
he's a rookie. So, and
right
it the interesting thing about the Suns is the Vogel's multiple ball handler attack, quote
well that
unquote,
is true, that is true.
because you can see every time they go and execute their offense, it's not just one guy. Sometimes it's KD bringing the ball. Even Nurkic brings the ball, and sometimes it's Booker, sometimes it's Beal, sometimes it's Eric Gordon. So the defenses will have to kind of have a hard time, trying to stop that. I guess I think.
I think defenses will have a hard time stopping that at the early parts of the season because this
Yeah,
always happens.
yeah,
New teams that have like big stars, they struggle a little bit at the beginning to find their groove together. It's like happened even with the Miami Heat big three. Like at the beginning they struggled to work together,
yeah,
They were 9 and
but
8 to start the season, but
yeah, right. And it happens. That's just like the most prominent example I could think of. But other teams that assemble a group of stars, they usually struggle at the beginning, and
I think
then
go.
go ahead. But okay, but they're helped by the fact that defenses haven't really figured it out yet, and then they find their groove a little bit. They get past their defenses, but NBA defensive players, NBA coaches are very quick to catch on. By the time the All-Star break happens, teams would know how to defend. Smart teams, especially, they're going to be like, okay, if this particular player brings up the ball, this is how we're going to stop it. If this particular player is the one who's going to be setting the screens here, if this particular player stands in this particular position, they would know how to stop that. And by the time the halfway point, the midway point of the season begins, the best defensive teams would know how to stop that. It's not gonna be like the case throughout the season unless all of a sudden the team decides, okay, you know what, we're gonna change the way we handle things. And especially in the playoffs, in
Oh,
the first round, maybe teams are gonna be like, okay, the first round teams are gonna be like, oh, we don't know how to stop this. But by the time you get to the latter rounds, teams have already watched film. They've already scouted and players don't suddenly change the way their game plays.
yeah,
Even superstars, even though they're multidimensional and they're capable of doing, so many things on the court, scouting reports are pretty accurate in saying, okay, this guy, he likes to do this. And when he sees this particular player here, he does this, he does that. And, so I think that'll be true for the beginning of the season, wherein defenses won't be able to figure them out just yet. But later on, that thing where that advantage they have wherein they're so mysterious and who's gonna handle the ball, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, it'll disappear eventually because the teams will figure out, oh, this is what happens when he does this, this is what happens when this other guy does this. So that's my thing with the Phoenix Suns. Are they do they have a good collection of stars on paper? Sure, but they don't have the greatest collection of role players around those stars
no,
is
I
one of their
I
biggest.
disagree with that. They do have a great supporting cast. You know,
They
they
have a decent supporting
they
cast.
have a better supporting cast than the Lakers and the Warriors.
that's debatable.
Yes.
I
No,
think
no, no.
they're
Look
That's
at
equal. I
debatable.
think they're equal with the Lakers.
no. The Suns have a better bench than the Lakers. I mean, look at the Lakers. They have bums, Cam Reddish and who?
Yeah,
Torian Prince.
Cam Reddish is for sure like one of those guys because I think like set that aside for a little bit. Cam
Yeah,
Reddish, I think the problem with Cam Reddish is
he forgot to
even
play
Cam Reddish
basketball.
doesn't know his own game,
Yeah,
No,
right? Like
that's true.
I
That's
don't
right.
think Cam Reddish knows his own game.
Cam
I don't think
Reddish is
coaches
catching
know.
strays, man.
Yeah, man, that's
In the squad
unfortunate,
is
but that's the thing. Torian Prince as well. Torian Prince was one of like the best prospects. He was one of the guys who people
he
thought, oh,
was
he's going to be. I don't think anyone saw him as a superstar guy, but people thought he was going to be
a
a great
decent.
role player
Yeah,
at least. And here's the thing: people like to give a lot of credit to LeBron for making his teammates better in a way,
yeah.
but LeBron is able to elevate his teammates when they're already, at that. He's
At
just
that
able
point,
to make them pop.
yeah, yeah,
Is the thing with LeBron is he's not able to take a group of bums and suddenly turn them into the greatest collection of talents. I think what LeBron does is he's able to just make that more prominent. He's able to make like I said, he's able to make guys pop.
yeah.
Like their game just becomes a little bit more pronounced, get a little bit more defined. But yeah, I think with the Lakers for sure they don't have the best collection of talent in the West. I think even in the league, but they still made great moves. I think decent
They
moves
did, they
rather.
did.
I wouldn't. Okay, let me retract on that. They didn't make great moves. They made decent moves.
Yeah,
They made decent moves to improve their team,
I,
and
I, I think
they,
they have a better
they,
role players this year
the-
compared to
yeah,
last
yeah, for
year's.
sure.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an upgrade.
So yeah, I mean with the Lakers, but that's the thing with the Lakers. They upgraded, and we all agree that they upgraded. And last season they were struggling, but they figured it out, right? Like
They well,
suddenly they were,
they got rid of Westbrook. That's why they
yeah.
got
Yeah,
By
there.
getting rid of Westbrook, they figured
that's
it
how
out.
they
But
got better.
by
Yeah.
getting rid of Westbrook, the guys around LeBron, they were
Oh yeah,
suddenly,
much
they
better
were
as
playing
well.
a little. They were, yeah, playing a little bit better. They were, there
Austin
was
Reeves in
better
particular.
movement. Yeah, in particular Austin Reeves, and Austin Reeves is gonna make an even bigger jump. And I think Darvin Ham is actually a smart coach when it comes to figuring out what player strengths
He's a
are, what the
really good
team needs.
coach.
Yeah, he's really good with
Ah,
that. So I think he'll be able to help elevate the game of the role players for the Lakers.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna defend the Warriors a little bit with the depth. I think the Warriors have I think they have a better depth than the Suns. Since I mean, Caleb Bates Diop, you know, Drew Eubanks, Eric Gordon, Ball,
yeah.
the Warriors,
Those
the
guys are
Warriors.
those guys are bigger than the entire starting five of the Warriors.
Well, yeah,
What?
but if
Yeah.
if if you look at the Warriors, they will have Chris Paul go from probably 20 games in. He's gonna be the sixth man. So you have Chris Paul, Gary Payton the second, J.K. Moses Moody.
Hmm.
The rookie, that Podzemski guy is really good. They also
Yeah,
have
Yeah,
actually,
that.
he's
They also
good.
have Dario Saric, which is I think
yeah.
would have
Like
a
he's
much
a threat. Like he's a threat.
no. He's
Yeah,
gonna have a much better impact.
Oh
Like
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
obviously.
He's
he's
gonna have a.
he's
In Steve Kerr's system, I believe he will have an
yes,
impact.
yes, yes. But
But
if you
over the
if
Suns, come
I
on.
I
think
mean
here's the thing. What if I could jump in a little bit
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
sure.
you and Juan can continue. I think the point with Chris Paul is that if we're talking about how LeBron isn't really the kind of guy who makes everyone like into takes them to the next level. The one guy who in the league I would say who actually does that is Chris Paul. Chris Paul I think is one of those guys you could surround him with a bunch of average players, and just because of how intelligent he is, because of how well he can read things with his teammates, he has done this in every single team he has joined
The
in the league.
Thunder
All of
team
a sudden, yeah,
that Thunder
all of a
team
sudden,
was
yeah,
so good with them.
yeah, all of a sudden the players around Chris Paul become better. So all of a sudden, any bench, if Chris Paul is the leader of your second unit, any bench is better than any bench you put up against that is all of a sudden just slightly worse
Yeah,
because there's no way that you're stopping Chris Paul's ability to make others better. And Kuminga has made a big jump. He's playing better. I think even Kevon Looney could be considered like a huge role of the pick and roll.
of course. Yeah, he's a threat.
Yeah,
Like he's a huge threat now that Chris Paul is on that team. So
He's gonna.
Chris Paul will elevate those guys.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
sorry, I
think
cut off
I
Juan,
think that
so Juan could.
I think with Paul, with Chris Paul, the Warriors are gonna give teams different looks depending on which team they're playing, and
yeah,
that's where they're gonna have other teams gonna have trouble adjusting. As for the Suns, I think I think they can get away without having a point guard until the playoffs, since the playoffs would you will have as in a 7 game series, coaches in the NBA will find a weakness, and
yeah,
in that weakness would probably not having a point guard. What if they blitz someone like Booker, who's not really uh I'm not gonna say he doesn't have the best basketball IQ, but he doesn't have the basketball IQ of probably a point guard
yeah,
like you need in those situations. So for the Suns to probably have a better chance, they really need to get a point guard since uh, I mean you guys don't have a point guard. Like
yeah.
if you look at
That's
them,
true. That's
you
true.
look at the top of all, you don't have a point guard.
But you
And
don't have a big man, so
well, we already won without a big man, and we can win without a big man.
well, you guys won with
Right.
you know,
Right.
yeah. Point taken.
Her system does not need like that
Yeah,
kind
we
of
don't need a
it.
big man.
The
But
way
the
that
thing
the
is,
NBA
Well,
is set up,
I
the
think I
rules of
think
the NBA, the pace,
I think
yeah,
in terms of guarding Jokic would be just don't let the other guys beat you.
yeah. But the
If
thing is,
yeah, yeah.
with
yeah,
the Warriors is like the stars are aging. So how much more can you rely on your stars if you
probably
don't have
about three more,
enough? Yeah, if you
probably
don't have
about
enough
3 more years,
3 more years. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
I
3 more
think
years.
because the shooters will always, be
yeah,
able
of
to do
course.
that, and Curry is still deadly off the ball. I think there's a lot of guys, a lot of people who troll the Warriors for, oh, do you have 2 point guards? But I think what they fail to remember is that Curry doesn't even need
Yeah,
to
he doesn't
hold
need the
on to the
ball.
ball.
Yeah,
Curry needs to catch the ball. He needs half a second to throw it into the. Sometimes he doesn't even shoot it. He just sort of just throws it,
it
and it goes
chucks a
like
shot.
chucks a shot and it goes in. Curry doesn't need 2 seconds
Yeah,
to set himself up and score. Curry needs to just come off a screen from Loon, from Draymond, and other guys will be able to learn that system and set effective screens for him. And he's going to free up a lot of their other guys. Klay Thompson is still a good shooter.
He's
If
gonna have a
I mean,
great season this year.
yeah, he's gonna have a great season, and
He's
people
gonna have a great
maybe
season this year.
he didn't have like the most consistent year, but on games when he was when he had it figured out last season, he was great. He put up good numbers. If you look at his stats, if you look at his
I think
numbers, he was good.
I think people look at Clay's performance in the playoffs and he stink in the playoffs. Stink. He
yeah, yeah.
just stunk in the playoffs, but he was really great in the regular season, and just in the playoffs he just against the Kings, like he just that's just the problem with Clay. He'll
He has
have
games.
he'll have a streak,
Yeah,
like he's gonna be like the best shooter in the world for about a streak of 6 weeks. Then he's gonna go cold, and when he goes cold, he's really cold, which is
yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah, he just
He is
disappeared, man.
when prime Clay, he'll have that stretch. Like he's not gonna make a single three, or he's just gonna be 1 of 7 in a game, like for about a string of 10 games, and people will question Kerr for not for letting him shoot, but he's gonna get his groove back.
That's
And
the
I
thing.
think
Shooters shoot despite the
yeah,
struggles.
but I think the problem with last year, he just had that cold streak in the playoffs,
He
which is
did.
at the wrong time. And if the Warriors like made the conference finals, I think they would be hot until throughout that series. So
Yeah,
I think Clay's gonna have a bounce back season. And in terms of the age thing, I think this is an important year to see if Kuminga and Moody and those two guys are up to the task to have a much bigger role. since probably next year they will have their extensions, or at least
Yeah.
they will have their rookie scale. So I think I think I don't know if it's a proper timeline. I think it's a proper timeline since uh Steph has until 3 more years and Draymond has four, but he has a player option. So I think it perfectly syncs as well as with Wiggins. So it perfectly syncs up if it's time to move on and just give the keys to at least Moody and
One of the guys. Yeah.
Kuminga. Yeah. So as with Clay, he once again played though. So I still believe that the big three will finish together. But we'll probably have another debate about this closer in the playoffs. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a
Yeah, yeah.
Warriors Suns. Well, Warriors Suns are the first game of the season as well,
Yeah.
so
Tomorrow.
we can see.
Tomorrow. We'll
We
see.
can discuss. We can discuss this more next week. So,
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, for sure, for
well,
sure.
I have the Warriors winning the first game. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
no. I'll have the Suns winning. The Warriors suck. The Warriors suck on
Yeah,
opening
the
night.
the
They,
Warriors
Usually
are one of
they.
those teams.
they
That's
suck
crazy.
on opening night, man.
The
I
War
remember I remember when they had KD. Then they faced Kawhi the Spurs. They blew them up by 30. And fans are saying, "Oh, the
Yeah.
Warriors are done." That was the first game of the season. Like they suck in the first game of the season, so I'm taking the Suns. Yeah, I'm taking their
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, that makes sense, man. History. Even because even the Lakers are that kind of team. They're a team that
Yeah,
sucks for like the first three, four
yeah.
games,
It's
even
so
chaotic
weird.
times, but
It
Yeah,
is
that
so
happened
weird.
last
It
yeah,
is
season.
so weird.
it's
It's so weird.
crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going far from the topic, so let's go back and track. Uh, next
Awards, right?
topic, next choices would be Rookie of the Year. Uh, Juan, who's your choice?
Oh. Well, other than that, well, probably Wemby, right?
Yeah.
Since
Do you still
since
do you still do you still believe in
I
yourself?
was gonna be an all-star. It's gonna be an all-star.
Okay, there it
He's
is.
gonna
There.
be an all-star. And have you seen what he did against the Rockets? He just not a guard.
He
He
did.
not
He
even a
did.
Yeah, that
guard.
was
Have you
crazy.
It's
seen his
crazy.
behind the back pass? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
to
no look
Vassell
as
in the
well, right?
corner.
And
Crazy.
Vassell in
he
the corner was.
and he's it's I think he's gonna be I think he's only he's the only problem he's gonna have probably is players are testing him. They're just bumping in him, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
they're trying to see.
and probably his stamina, his conditioning. He looked gassed. Limited minutes, he looked gassed, but he looks fantastic, man. He's gonna be worth the hype. He's crazy. I guess the Warriors. I was like, holy shit. He blocked Clay. Like
He did.
Clay
It was
would Clay would usually like shoot that and like I was like, oh wait, when he just reached that, and I think as well as Wiggs.
Yeah,
And
Wiggs as well.
Andrew Wiggins was.
you have that picture of Wiggs, and I think the ball was so far off Wiggs' hands, but Wemby still got it. He's gonna be a monster if he
It's
stays
true.
healthy though. But yeah,
Yeah, he has to stay healthy.
if you're gonna look at it, it's gonna be Wemby
Okay, Miguel.
and
Oh yeah.
outside chance of Chet as well. Chet looked
Okay.
fantastic as well. Man, those two
He,
guys.
I think Chet has to find his groove first. He does.
Those
So
two guys are just
Yeah, yeah,
man,
for
human
sure,
beings
man.
like that. Man shouldn't exist, man.
crazy.
Damn.
Crazy.
Miguel, who's your pick?
I mean, I think it's
He was
fair
the
to just
first
say
guy. He was the
Wemby.
first
Yeah, I
guy.
think it's fair to just say Wemby. Here's the thing, right? I believe Wemby is going to have a great rookie season. I'm not yet that sold on whether
Well,
he's going to
come
be an
on,
all
man.
star. Not yet, not yet.
Come
But I
on,
mean,
man.
it makes sense. It makes sense that you think he's going to be an all star, but I'm not that sold just yet. I think once the season starts and defenders start taking things a little bit more seriously, he might have a bit of a problem on the defensive end because they'll be able to body him up a little bit
Yeah.
easier, and I don't think he's that far removed from being a great talent if he's able to stay healthy. Because usually guys come into the NBA, they need a season or two to become stronger.
Yeah.
They need to hit the weight room. And once they do that, once they're able to reach like just the strength that's required of them, they that's when they start to hit that superstar or rather all-star level of play. So, Can Wemby do it? I don't have any reason to doubt that he can. What I'm still a little bit just cautious on is health. So
Yeah.
should Wemby stay healthy, I think yeah, he's going to be rookie of the year. He's going to be an all-star maybe by his second
Yeah.
season.
Oh no,
He You know, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a sliver of a chance that he makes it, but the realist in me says second season. But the fan in me, like the Spurs fan in me, wants to say, yeah, first season he's going to make the All Star. He's going to lead the Spurs to at least the seventh seed and stuff like that. Is what the fan in me says. But the realist in me just wants to say maybe a play-in team, and even then, I'm not sure if they'll win the play-in. So yeah, that's Wemby's rookie of the year for
All
sure.
right. So both of you guys, you chose Wemby.
yeah, let me be the All Star. Yeah,
Wemby the All Star, according to Juan. For me, it's not that I don't believe in Wemby. I do believe in Wemby. Like, but he'll have struggles offensively, and if he ever does win the rookie of the year, it's going to be his defense that will carry his chances. Increase his chances of winning the award. So of course he's a big target by the entire NBA because they say, oh, he's the greatest prospect and all. So he's bound to hit some roadblocks. He might get injured. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Um, this is why I'm choosing Scoot Henderson as the potential rookie of the year because he doesn't have that much pressure. Although he was picked third, right? He was picked third. Um, but he's got a great environment with the Portland Trailblazers because he has DeAndre Ayton, an experienced veteran big man
I don't know
who,
if you're serious or not with that.
You guys couldn't even get through DeAndre Ayton's name without laughing.
yeah, I mean,
By the time you finished saying DeAndre, y'all both were laughing already.
I don't know if
it's
it was serious with a veteran presence, a great
yeah,
Yeah,
veteran
man,
presence
that's
with Aiton.
crazy.
Aiton,
This
if you can learn someone from the NBA, it's not Aiton. Because Aiton's a diva, man.
yeah, this guy hated DeAndre Ayton for his entire Suns career. Suddenly he's with a different team. It's like, oh, great veteran present. Who's following Ayton at this point?
no. It's, I mean, all jokes aside, he's still a great talent, obviously,
For sure,
but
yeah.
I'm just glad he's not wearing the Suns jersey anymore.
He can be a great talent elsewhere, just
Yeah,
not my team.
just not,
Basically, it's what it
just not in
is.
Arizona,
So,
just not in
it's gonna
Phoenix.
be Aiton's revenge season over
Revenge tour
Revenge
for
season. Have you
Ayton.
seen the
Yeah.
matchup between him and Yusuf Nurkic? He played more minutes, 23 minutes, but he had 7 points and whatever rebounds. And
Yeah, he
Nurkic
couldn't get
had like
past Nurkic,
17,
man.
8, and
Crazy.
5. So, anyways, going back to Scoot, I think he doesn't have a target in his back. Other like unlike Chet,
Yeah.
who also is going to be targeted by a lot of big men, a lot of teams, and Wemby and Scoot. I think he's a very complete player now. Uh, among all the rookies, he's the most complete, I think, because he's got decent size, he's got decent athleticism. His basketball IQ is very high, so I think with the silence or the minimal attention that the Portland Trailblazers will be getting this
So they're
season,
gonna tank.
he'll have a quiet campaign to win the Rookie of the Year. Um, okay, so next award, Defensive Player of the Year award.
Ooh.
For me, I think it's going. I'm torn. Actually, I'm torn. It's either Drew Holiday. I'm picking Drew Holiday or Bam. I think it's about
Oh,
time either of those two win the award. So I'll just choose both of them because Bam has been around. He's been a great defensive presence for the Miami Heat for a long time. And he should have won last season if it wasn't for Jaren Jackson Jr. he should have already had his trophy by at right now. So I think it's about time that he wins the Defensive Player of the Year award. For Drew Holiday, it's because he's in a better system. I'm not saying that Mike Budenholzer's system wasn't great. It's just that it didn't highlight his defensive abilities enough. Although it did compared to New Orleans, his time with the Pelicans, but now with the Boston Celtics, it's he'll be in a microscope, similar to Marcus Smart when it comes to the defensive assignments, defensive possibilities and whatnot. So I think it's either of those two. Juan, who's your pick?
Well, it should be Bam, right? Since he is probably the most vocal one out of all the players that he wants that award. I think the problem with Bam winning is the media guys don't really look at impact. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're gonna go look at stat sheets. That's why that's why I think Jaren Jackson won last year. He led the league in blocks. So
yeah. He was generating a
Yeah.
lot of fouls,
I,
but also a lot
I
of
think
blocks. That's
I
why.
think I think Bam would have a if a they will have a huge chance if their team defense is probably a top five, since voters that know about defense would look at team defense, and I think that's why he's only finishing top five in the past 4 years. I think is their
Hmm.
team defense. Heat's team defense probably right, probably just top 10. I think they the Heat would need probably a top five finish for Bam to do that. But if we're gonna look at it, I'm probably it's either gonna be Jaren again, since they don't have Steven Adams, so
Yeah,
he's gonna be more
Yeah.
playing center. So probably it's either him or probably have Mobley's breakout year this year,
Yeah,
since
man.
Mobley.
since they need Mobley to really take his game
For
to another
sure. For
level,
sure.
because Donovan's leaving. He is leaving, man. So they need him to just elevate him. They just Mobley just needs to elevate his game to a notch.
Donovan
To
Mitchell is a Nick.
yeah, yeah, it's probably going to the Knicks.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's probably going to the Knicks.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, Miguel, who's your choice? DPOY.
Here's the thing: is I was actually hoping that no one would say Evan Mobley's name, but you
Yeah,
can't get anything past Juan.
yeah.
His basketball knowledge is incredible. You can't get anything past
That
him. But I
mind is
was
full of sports, full of
Yeah,
balls.
man. I was thinking Evan Mobley. I think not with the media, not with the coaches, but with fans, he's a sleeper.
Yeah,
I
Oh yeah.
don't think a lot of fans would look at Mobley and say, "Oh, that's my defensive player of the year," but he's my defensive player of the year. This is both a case of like me wanting it to happen, me wanting Evan Mobley to step up and become defensive player of the year, and at the same time, I think the way that his talent's been trending, that those are the two reasons why I want to go with Mobley. I agree with Bam. I think part of the reason why he's not winning it is he's just not the kind of person that the media would vote for,
yeah.
which is unfortunate because the talent
It's
is there,
there. It's
defensive talent
obvious.
is
I
there. I think.
I think
Go ahead.
with what Joel did the past 2 years, then he won MVP. Like he
Yeah,
was
Oh,
so
you want
vocal
him
that he
to
wants to be
try?
yeah,
MVP,
yeah, yeah.
right?
And he can.
And now Bam is doing the same thing to the media.
Yeah,
So
he
Yeah.
he has
could
a shot now. He has a shot
bring
now.
it into existence.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, man, that's crazy. But there's one guy that I wanted him to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think maybe 2 seasons ago, or maybe even 2 to 3 seasons ago. But he didn't win it. Is Brooke Lopez,
He should have.
Oh
because
yeah.
I feel like Brooke Lopez is one of those guys, and I've said this before. He had one of the greatest career resurgences.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
Brooke Lopez was at that point in his career where he was just trending downwards.
Yeah. After he left
People
the
were going
Nets.
to forget.
He
Yeah.
was with the Lakers.
Yeah,
He did.
it's
He
something
was.
with the Lakers,
He
and
was with
at
the
that point
Lakers.
he was a forgotten guy. It was like, Brooke Lopez.
Yeah.
But suddenly with the Bucks, he's a much better shooter, one of the most efficient shooters for his size. Suddenly he's a great defender. And you know how people criticize that he didn't have an interior presence. When he was with the Nets, it's like he can't rebound, he can defend. There's nothing he does that warrants him being a big man in the NBA. But suddenly now he's doing the things that we look at it as like he deserves to be a big man in the NBA. He defends. He's got an interior presence. So just because I wanted him to win it before, I would love to see him have another great defensive season and be another one of those sleeper picks for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think he finished second last year.
Yeah, he did finish second.
So, and Mobley was third.
Yeah.
So, you'll
That
probably
was
get
great.
more votes this year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for most improved player,
Oh,
Juan,
I
who
don't
do you
have.
have?
Okay, wait. I don't know. Okay,
I mean, if you don't have one, I can go first.
I have a pick too.
Okay, Miguel, you go
okay,
ahead.
go first.
Okay, let me go.
I'll just.
I feel like I feel
yeah.
like it's gonna be a
Go ahead.
Spurs
I
play.
feel like we're going. No, actually,
okay.
surprisingly not. I wanted to say Devin Vassell,
Yeah,
which is another surprising because when people look at the series, they're probably thinking Keldon Johnson. But last season, Keldon Johnson looked like a non-shooter, which sucks
Yes.
because that was the one thing that the Spurs really could rely on was like, oh, at least Keldon Johnson could be a decent perimeter player. But if I were to go with a Spurs guy, I would say Devin Vassell. But I'm not going with a Spurs guy. There's actually two guys on my list again.
ooh, interesting.
Number one is Tyrese Maxey.
Oh,
I think, especially, I think at this point, it's safe to say that Harden is out of the way for the 76ers, right? He hasn't been traded yet, but the chances of him playing is very slim. So I don't think he's going to show up. And Nick Nurse actually talked about how they're preparing the team. His mentality with preparing the team is that Harden isn't there.
Yeah.
Harden doesn't exist. Or something. That's, of course, just like me rephrasing what Nick Nurse said. That isn't exactly what he said, but basically, he's preparing the team, without James Harden. But without James Harden, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be relied more on by Nick Nurse. So, he has a chance to be the boy. And the other guy, most improved.
Yeah.
And the other guy is, I think, you guys will agree, and I think this guy is someone you wanted to pick as well, is Mikael Bridges.
Oh yeah,
Mikael Bridges is he's I don't know, he's great. You saw him even in FIBA World Cup. That's solid experience. Even if you say it's a different system, different game, that experience that he earned there, and the fact that I don't see anyone else being the main guy or the primary option for his team unless Ben Simmons, wins Rookie of the Year this year again or something like that. But Mikael Bridges.
I was gonna. I think one of my choices was Ben. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah, Ben Simmons for Rookie of the Year. I was thinking about Ben Simmons for Rookie of the Year again. But anyway, Mikael Bridges, I think he's gonna have a big jump. Hey, Ben Simmons could be Rookie of the Year again, but he could argue that since I haven't played in so long, I might as well be a rookie.
I forgot how to play.
It's an argument.
NBA level.
Yeah, but anyway, Mikael Bridges.
That's a good picks actually. Good picks. Juan, do you want to go first or should I go first?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. Go.
I agree with Mikael Bridges since Mikael Bridges turned into a borderline superstar with the Nets last year. Like he went from being a role player to the number one guy, so he has a chance. But I think it's gonna be Jordan Poole. He's gonna go nuts.
Pool party.
He's gonna go nuts in Washington. He's gonna be averaging.
I think
he's gonna be averaging like 27.
You are traded.
27 points on 40% shooting.
I was gonna say I think Jordan Poole is going to suddenly average 35 points per game while also shooting like 35%.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I see. He's like he's gonna shoot under 40, but he's gonna have like the biggest scoring year of his career. Is like this guy's gonna score 35, 40 points per game. But he's also going to be shooting at like 30% is what's going to happen. And Danny Avdia is going to walk off the court and Jordan Poole will be up there running up and down by himself. I don't know.
I think the craziest stat of the preseason was Jordan Poole scoring 41 points against the Knicks. Then he went 1 for 50.
Yeah, 1 for 50 in the next game.
It's the thing ever.
I think that's gonna be what it will look like the whole year.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole's gonna have the most roller coaster
That's gonna be
kind ride.
which is gonna be fun to watch though. So I think I don't know if voters are gonna be enamored with Michael Bridges, but I can see Jordan Poole and probably Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is hot in the
Kate
media,
Cunningham. Cunningham.
so he's gonna be another one, and probably I think another probable choice is probably Shengun. I think I'll try
Shengun,
Shengun
dude. Yeah,
for
Alperen
the I think
Shengun.
I'll try Shengun for the Rockets will have a really great season, especially with a new coach that knows how to use him. I
Yeah.
mean, the only downside with Ime is Ime loves his defensive guys, and
Yeah, and
but
he can't defend.
he's probably gonna realize that you know he's got like a mini Jokic in his hands,
Yeah,
so
man. It's crazy.
he knows he's gonna know how to use him. So I got
That's
those three.
okay. So for me, I do agree with the Mikal Bridges pick because he's my sole pick, my only pick for winning MIP. I loved him when he was with the Phoenix Suns. Great defensive. He went from becoming a two-way player to becoming a primary option with the Nets after he got traded. He was dropping 40 points. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
crazy. You went
yeah.
crazy last year.
So yeah, Mikal Bridges, I think he will take uh, a leap. Yeah, as long as I think they should trade Ben Simmons and then just give the reins over to Mikal Bridges because they're just wasting their time with Ben Simmons and he's not doing anything. So that's just my
I'm
take.
gonna
But
I'm gonna give another hot take.
yeah,
Ben Simmons will have a great season this
I mean, it's not.
He looks like he's gonna. I mean, he's at that
Yeah,
stage of the cycle, the Ben Simmons cycle, where he's at the stage where he has a great. He's looks like he's gonna have because he's playing well. Like if you
year.
look at the preseason performance, he was good.
I think I
Yeah,
think it was his back. He had a back injury,
he did.
and I'm just gonna compare it to what Michael Porter Jr. endured.
yeah,
Like Michael Porter needed like 2 years to be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to get back, and he's not even back to full health. I think, or he's back to his real game. So 2 years now. So this is probably my last take on Ben Simmons having a great season. So it is, but
Um,
and I think it helps that it is his contract year. He wants to
yeah,
get paid,
he wants to
so
get paid
he's
for
probably
sure.
gonna be playing really great this season.
Expect him to play a minimum of
That's
60
good.
games or
60 games.
65.
But here's the thing. With Ben Simmons, I'm gonna pile on that with
Yeah, go
Juan's
ahead.
hot take because it's funnier to troll Ben Simmons and go against Ben Simmons and say Ben Simmons is gonna win Rookie of the Year. That's like all funnier. And like it makes for much better entertainment than saying, "Oh, Ben Simmons is gonna be a great. He's gonna have a great season. He's gonna have a bounce back." But here's the thing. Ben Simmons does not need to be a shooter to be a great guy. He's able to contribute in other ways, but a lot of the problems with Ben Simmons, I feel, is aside from having to deal with some, physical issues, it's a bit mental because I think the confidence. But if he gets that confidence to do the things he does in the off season and in the preseason, in the regular season once again, there's no reason to think that he's not gonna be an all star once again because as an all star, dude, he was an incredible playmaker.
Yeah, it was
He was
great.
he's big. He could score inside even up until like the 17-foot area. He was deadly with some because of his length. Up until the 15, 17 feet away from the rim, he would still be deadly even though he couldn't really hit jump shots. He had some moves that would let him be deadly at 15, 17 feet. And, he's a rebounder. I think he could be decent in that regard. And he's a solid defender. At some point, someone who you could consider as defensive player of the year material as well. So, it's funny to troll Ben Simmons, and I enjoy trolling Ben Simmons because he makes himself so trollable,
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
is.
But
It is true.
yeah, so but I want to agree with Juan's hot take, and that's
Yay.
it is where I might say that he might, if he's able to perform as well as as we saw in the preseason, he might come off the bench for the All Star team even.
Those are
He
yeah.
just needs to be Rondo. He's basically Rondo on a bigger body.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
he's
it's
he
true.
he's
just
big
he just
Rondo.
needs
He's big Rondo.
He just needs to focus on that.
Yeah. So those are our picks for MIP, and of course, you gave your hot take. I don't really mind it. It's doesn't impact me that much, so I'm not gonna share my opinion on that. But for the last award, Sixth Man of the Year, last major award.
Wait,
Uh,
wait, we still have the MVP.
If
oh yeah,
league
league
MVP as
MVP. Okay,
well.
we'll have that
That's
last
finale.
one.
Last one.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll do a quick one for the Sixth Man of the Year. For the Sixth Man of the Year, I think it will be Malik Monk. Um, I think he came in third or second last season. I'm not sure, or somewhere in the top five. Um, with the fast paced offense that the Kings are running, and a ton of dribble handoffs, he's benefited a lot from that. So I think this season it'll be like we'll see the full potential or what of what he can do on the basketball court. You know, so Malik Monk for me is the sixth man of the year. So Juan, who's your sixth man winner?
Well, it will depend on what the Clippers will do, but I think Bones Highland will take the sixth man,
Ooh,
which is
interesting.
crazy. Because he fits the mold of those Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford guys.
Yeah, he
Is
does.
he give him like 15 minutes, he's gonna score 20. So if the Clippers give him that role, I think he has a chance. And the other one, if Chris Paul comes off the bench, I think he has a chance to win that as well. So I
Number
have
one
those
enemy
two.
would be his quads.
Well, I think going off the bench would be much better for him since
Yeah, preserve
he
his
won't ha- he
energy.
won't have that wear and tear of the regular season like if he was a starter. So that him and Bones Highland. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with two. So
Okay, so Miguel, who's your sixth man this season?
I think if I have two guys as well. I think if Derek White came off the bench for the Celtics, he'd have a solid chance to win Sixth Man of the Year. But also at the same time, I really want to see Chris Paul win Sixth Man of the Year, just because. See, here's the thing: Chris Paul is not the most likable guy in the NBA,
Yeah,
but I've always liked his talents, man. I've always liked guys who's able to elevate their teammates to a different level, and at this stage in his career, I think it'll be big for Chris Paul to win Sixth Man. I think at some point he might have been robbed of the MVP award. Maybe that's like up for an argument. But Chris Paul, I think if he's able to elevate the Warriors bench the way that I think he can, because I made such a big deal of him elevating the Warriors second unit a while ago, or the role players, and maybe even Curry's game, he might be able to elevate Curry's game to a level that we've never seen before. But for Chris Paul, I just want to. I think it would be a great thing for him at this point in his career to win Sixth Man of the Year. So yeah, Paul or Derek White.
okay, that's great. So we're here with the MVP awards now. Juan, I think you've made your decision on who's going to win the MVP award, the
MVP.
season MVP. So who do
Oh,
you have?
Steph? No, no,
I
just
mean,
joking,
I
just
mean,
joking.
Steph.
No, just joking,
If
just
you
joking.
would.
Well,
I mean, it's gonna be Jokic. I think voters are gonna be
Ashamed of
looking at it like,
themselves.
man, we should have voted for him.
Yeah.
He,
yeah,
he,
yeah, yeah.
he should have won like three straight MVPs. And if outside shot, I mean it's gonna be Jokic. Outside shot probably either Luca or Jason Tatum.
Great picks.
No Embiid, no to Embiid.
No to Embiid.
No to Embiid.
Yeah. Okay, so Miguel, who's your MVP choice this season?
Yeah,
And
I
Wemby?
also want to say Jokic. I mean, dude. I mean, it would be great if it was Wemby, wouldn't it? But anyway, Jokic is I think the voters are going to realize that they made a mistake voting Embiid in because Embiid wouldn't stop talking about it, which I don't know, kind of makes me not like Embiid that much.
Yeah,
Um,
understandable.
He
with
cries.
with
He
yeah,
just cries.
man, with Jokic, he deserved to win three in a row, and voters' fatigue I think set in.
Yeah.
It played a role in him not winning his third straight. But this season, Yeah, it'll be. I don't see I don't see him dropping off. I in fact I see him like playing maybe even a little bit better than he did last season because now he's a champion and the Nuggets have talked about wanting to repeat and all that. So he already has that championship caliber
Yeah,
kind of kind of level of play that you see in MVP level guys. So I don't see why Jokic shouldn't win it, and he's the only pick for me.
I think we're all in agreement with our predictions, our choices, because that's who I choose as well. For the same reasons, it's like the voters should be ashamed of themselves, especially the
Yeah,
media, for
yeah.
giving
Mark Jackson especially.
Mark Jackson. He forgot about Jokic. I
Stupidest, it was the stupidest freaking thing ever.
I think you
Yeah.
forget the two-time
He,
MVP.
he was not in the top five. He was not in his
Yeah,
top five,
that's
which
that's
is crazy
embarrassing.
for a former head coach in
I
the
think that's why he
NBA.
got
I
fired.
know. For a guy who was a head coach, even who the guy who's supposed to recognize
Talent.
these things, like
Yeah,
MVP caliber
Yeah,
guys, for him to forget even. I mean, I was okay if he didn't vote, Jokic first place
yeah,
and said
like
maybe second.
at
That would
least
have been at least
at least
acceptable, right?
three, at least top three last year.
Yeah, at least
yeah,
top three, but to completely
He
forget
was
Nikola Jokic is
top
like
five.
that's a crime.
that's crazy. Yeah, I think that's where I think the voters fatigue is like the biggest evidence of voters fatigue is that we don't want to vote for Jokic anymore, which is terrible because these awards voting for things like these shouldn't be about like your personal feelings, personal emotions. Even if a guy doesn't interact with the media very well, even if a guy isn't really the most likable,
Yeah,
if his talent suggests that he's MVP caliber, he should be voted into that regardless of
yeah.
what the media feels about
That's
him.
how that's
So,
how
but
Embiid won. He's not likable.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
I think the
terrible.
Park debate helped. The Park and JJ debate helped Embiid won that award.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
That
Perk.
played a
He
role.
insinuated it.
Perk,
Yeah,
I mean Perk and Mark Jackson helped Joel Embiid win MVP. Man.
I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
time that the voters, especially the media, realize that Jokic should have three trophies in his case right now, because it's obvious last season, and it would show again. I hope this season that he'll have a great campaign, because he
Mm-hmm.
had great rest. He didn't play with FIBA or with the Serbian national team. He didn't play. He chose to rest and just watch horses.
Yes, his
So
horses.
yeah, I think he'll have a great season. He'll reclaim his throne as the best player in the league, and possibly have a deep playoff run. Yeah. So wow, we did a lot. We talked a lot about a lot of things, because we didn't have an episode last week, so we made it
That's
up for
too
you
much.
guys.
Yeah.
We made it up for you.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this week was one of those things that warranted an argument.
Yeah,
So
we
Yeah.
we
that's
we got all three of us got into it, so that's great.
Yeah.
yeah,
Therapy session. It's a therapy session for us. But
We got a lot more to talk about,
next episode,
especially after the season. Yeah,
yes,
so excited. The NBA is back, man.
yeah.
The NBA
Finally,
is
finally.
back.
finally, the NBA is
Yeah.
back.
Anyways, guys, this has been episode 11 of the Jersey Shorts podcast. Please leave a like, subscribe on the YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, notifications bell, of course, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We even have a Facebook and Threads. We're everywhere. So keep in touch, and next week we'll drop another episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
See ya.
Hey guys.